Hello, and welcome to this week's Profit Maximize Enrollment. This show is dedicated to helping business owners dramatically improve their bottom line with our weekly profit maximizing tips that you can use now. I'm your host and coach, Wayne Belisle. I'm also the founder of a local CPA firm that works with business owners to help them make more money and keep more of it from the IRS. I do that with our profit coaching programs. Well, excuse me, which by the way, we're going to be doing one probably this summer and another one in the fall, but for sure in the summer. And with our tax planning systems, which has saved my clients millions of dollars over the years, all legally. Love my clients, but I don't want to share a jail cell with them, like I say every week. So I'm going to touch on a couple things: why you should screen your customers and how to identify the ideal customer for you. They're kind of related, okay? Because if you know your ideal customer, it makes it easier to screen. So let's talk about that. But first, support for today's show is brought to us by Profit Maximizing Publishing, which published my book, The 90-Day Profit Reset, which shows you how to gain your independence from reduced cash flow, shrinking margins, and an evaporating customer base. In this book, you will find chapter after chapter and idea after idea about how you can turn around your business and reset your profits from red to black in 90 days or fewer. Even entrepreneurs who are making money will benefit from my book or learning how to make even more money. All right, let's get in there. Sorry. Got too much stuff on my desk today. All right, yeah, like I said, the title of this one was, finding the ideal customer. And I thought I'd back up a second and talk about, why you should screen your customer. And once you know that you should screen what you're looking for, which is your ideal customer. And see, when I started my business, I was like most business owners, and I had no sales background. And that's especially true for anybody who's starting a business that's not a salesperson. Technician, CPA, dentist, plumber, electrician, good at what we do, just never sold. All right. I just wanted to try to sell anyone who would let me talk to him. So I hired a sales consultant who was constantly arguing with me and telling me I had to qualify my prospects before making my sales call. My argument, and I've heard it from clients, for not qualifying could be summarized pretty easily. Here's 4 points I brought up. Sales is an energy business. Just getting out there and speaking to people is valuable from an energy generation point of view. You could be wrong. You might think that prospect X obviously has no use for your product, but you don't know for sure this for sure. It helps to desensitize yourself to rejection. I don't know if that ever worked. I don't take it personal, but no one likes to be rejected. And you get to practice your objections on a relatively unimportant prospect. I don't like that. There's no such thing. But, anyways, that was my thought process back then. The time you waste guessing if someone is interested or not could be used more effectively by just asking him or her. But my sales consultant at that time came back at me with, his argument used for qualifying was that it cost an enormous amount of effort, human capital, and money to make a sales call. And he's right. When I sat down and thought about it, especially, at the beginning, I had more time than clients, but that's not the case anymore. So, especially now, you simply cannot afford to waste the time and money on people who aren't sincerely interested. You need to target higher quality prospects rather than higher quantity. I almost said that backwards. That's why I paused. Quality and convertibility are what's important. In other words, go where the money is. Over the years, I discovered how correct he is. I quickly learned that my success ratio with prospects increased when I reminded myself before, during, and even heck after the meeting, I am concerned about my customers' needs. And I'm going to misspell that for the acronym NEADS. All right. So, what does that mean? If I discovered my customers' true needs, that would lead my customers to the right product or service for them. Satisfying the needs, the N stood for now. What does the customer have now? If you know what your prospect has now, you have a good idea of the type of person he is, and you have a good idea of what he will want to have in the future. E is for enjoy. You need to know what the customer enjoys about what they have now. What was his major motivation for getting involved with it? A is for alter. What would the customer like to change or alter or improve about what he has now? And D is for decision. Specifically, you need to know who will be making the final decision. Sales, like everything else, is a skill that you can improve even if you're not a natural salesperson, which I don't believe I am. Trust me, I don't think I am. Once you remember to qualify your customers and work to meet their needs, you will see your sales increase dramatically. Now, I talked about what's your ideal customer because that helps. All right. It helps if you're targeting your ideal customer, but first to target them, you need to know what they are. All right. And that's important. Um, what you probably want to do is look at your current customers and pick your best ones, and researching the characteristics and needs of these best customers. With that, you'd be able to create a message, products, and promotions that will motivate your ideal customers to buy from you. So, first thing you're going to want to figure out, why do customers seek your products or service? What problem is your customer trying to solve? All right. For us, it's usually three things. They, they paid more taxes than they want is always the big one. That's why we do tax planning. All right. Secondly, they might have just flat out outgrown their bookkeeper. They're not getting the advice they need. What's that mean? They're not getting business advice. All right. So we know they're coming in for those things. Have something to sell to them for that. Excuse me. What, right? Doesn't like me. What are the key events that trigger their needs? Write those down. What is it? If you're a photographer, all of a sudden they need a picture because they got married, they had a baby, they got an anniversary, somebody's graduating. What are these? Okay, for you. What are the top products or services that fulfill their needs? Okay. What are the entry products that first cause the customer to contact you? That's important to know, because if you know, it's BK Medical, I brought them up before. They do medical supplies. If people come in because they need a walker, or they come in because they need a lift chair, or they come in because they need diaper products, or they come in because somebody in their family unfortunately had a stroke, whatever the case may be, you need to have a list of causes for that contact. Why are those top selling products or services? Why are these things? What is it that makes them come in and ask for that first? What causes that? See, if you know that, then you can target your marketing that way. What are the end results your customers are seeking? Always, always, always important. In my case, pretty simple. I don't want to pay taxes, or I want to pay as little as possible without going to jail. I want to grow this business, and I want it to be profitable without me killing myself. And never seen my wife getting a divorce, never seen my kids, they grow up hating me. Whatever. You figure it out. What is solving your customer's problem worth to them? That's important. You need to figure that out. Why do your customers buy the way they do? That's important. Figure out what they're doing. What are the price points your customers are comfortable with? All right. That's important. Take a look at it. But price isn't everything. Remember what I talked about last week or the week before? Price came in sixth on the survey. What is your industry's current marketing trends? What marketing and sales is your competition currently doing? Doesn't mean they're right. Okay. Just find out what they're doing and see if it's something you should be doing too. Okay. I know my ideal customers. What's the best way to reach them? What's the best way to communicate with them? Social media, radio, face-to-face, direct mail, something else, email, text message, who knows? Figure out what that is. And finally, how do customers come across your products or services? That's important. So what you're going to want to do, we're going to continue this a little bit more next week. We're going to talk about, now that you've gathered this information, what to do with it. But I would recommend watching this video again, taking notes on the things I just brought up. And remember, you need to know who your ideal customer is so that you can target your sales calls, your sales message entirely. And next week, we're going to talk a little bit about avatars. And once you know who your ideal customer is, and more likely than not, in business, you're not going to have just one ideal customer. All right, you're going to have multiples. Worked with a restaurant once, which, had their after work young crowd. They had their Sunday church crowd. They had the single moms crowd. I forget all the ones they had, but they had about half a dozen. And they started targeting. They had Lent specials because that was one of their Lent crowds. That was a good way to do it. So, anyways, until next time, this is Wayne Blau saying, let's make this our most profitable year ever. And we'll see you next week with more on, getting your ideal customer really down in your mind. This is too important to just blow off as something. I don't care. They call me. That's not the way it works in today's world. Hey, like I said, have a great weekend, and God bless, and go to church, right? Have a good one. Bye.